Welcome to the WPS Online Evaluation System video series. My name is Stephanie Roberts, Assessment Consultant for WPS, and I'm joined by Salvador Velasco, Product Manager for the Online Evaluation System. This video series is set up in chapters so you can advance to the topics that interest you. The topics covered in this series are Part 1, learn about the assessments offered and decide if the WPS Online Evaluation System is a good fit for you and/or your organization. Part 2, how to purchase assessments and set up your WPS Online Evaluation System account. And Part 3, how practitioners can optimize their use of the WPS Online Evaluation System with advanced pro tips. WPS offers a wide array of assessments on our website, WPSpublish.com, for a variety of professionals. We have both performance-based assessments and rating scales that professionals use to evaluate individuals on our online evaluation system. Some professionals are hesitant to utilize online assessments for a variety of reasons, such as cost, comfort level with the use of the online tools, concern about equipment needed, etc. People often think that the online assessments cost more than paper assessments. While that may be true for other publishers, WPS offers our online assessments at the same cost of our paper assessment. In fact, switching to online assessments can save you money in the long run because forms cannot be lost and you can share the assessment kits across professionals. You also have easy access to online manuals for the interpretation purposes. So there is no need to drive to pick up a paper manual, and you can check your inventory with a couple clicks of a button. In addition, no one is able to hold on to or hoard forms so that they become irrelevant and a waste of money when the new revision of that assessment is published. You only need an internet connection and web browser from any device to utilize the WPS Online Evaluation System. There are no subscription fees. You only pay for the form to be scored, and there are no additional report fees. Once you score the form, you're able to generate an unlimited number of reports if you have purchased the online kit. WPS assessment consultants are available to help you decide how many kits and additional forms you will need for your organization. They can also provide training to you and your staff on various assessments available on the WPS Online Evaluation System. They can also help you with obtaining quotes and see if there are any discounts available. For example, if you have an organization of 6 people, perhaps you only need one kit and additional forms for all to share. If you have an organization of 100 people, you will likely need multiple kits. It is very important that when purchasing an assessment for the first time, that you purchase an online kit of that assessment. This gives you forms, a manual, and unlimited report features. If you only purchase the forms, you will not get the manual or the unlimited report features. It is not cost-effective to buy those components separate, so it's very important that you do that upfront. When purchased as a kit, the cost is lower than if the components were purchased separately, and the only way to get the unlimited report features of the assessments is to purchase the online kit. It is also very important if individual's work supervisor who has been granted permission to open an account on the WPS Online Evaluation System. Practitioners should not set up an account without the permission of the organization they work for, as they will be putting confidential information on the WPS Online Evaluation System, and the organization has to approve of it. We will show you more about setting up accounts in a later segment of this series. First, I want to tell you a little bit more about the assessments we have available on the WPS Online Evaluation System. We have performance-based assessments and rating scales. Here are some of our performance-based assessments available on the online evaluation system. We also have rating scales on our online evaluation system. Here are some of the rating scales that are available on the OES. All assessment kits come with an online manual. This manual can only be viewed by one practitioner at a time. Just like a paper manual, however, With it being online, you have the convenience of not having to physically retrieve the manual. Instead, the organization manager can transfer the manual from one user to another. This process is instantaneous, as opposed to driving to a location to pick up the manual. Now let's discuss the assessments and how they work. We have several assessments that are rating scales. When administering the rating scales, you have the option of sending a link to the rater via an email with the online evaluation system. When the rater is finished filling it out, you will be notified within the WPS Online Evaluation System that the form is complete. You also have the option to print out a PDF response sheet at no extra charge for raters who do not have computers. Once you receive the filled out response sheet, you can enter that data in the WPS Online Evaluation System, score it, then print out a score report or other type of report. If you have a rating form that is an interview format, you will not be able to send a link. You will need to complete the interview in person, over the phone, or via an online platform. As you complete the interview, you can either enter the responses immediately online, or you can use the PDF response sheet and enter the response in the WPS Online Evaluation System at a later time. The other type of assessments we have on the online evaluation system are performance-based assessments. These are assessments that the examinee is directly assessed by the practitioner or clinician. These assessments require the professional to use an online platform to administer the assessment. The assessments may contain easels, videos, and/or audio files. The professionals would still need to use the paper protocols to administer one of these assessments, with one exception, the clinical assessment of pragmatics, and we can discuss that later. We will demonstrate how both performance-based and rating scales work later in this video series. As I stated earlier, it's best to contact the assessment consultant for your area to help determine which assessments are best to meet your needs. You can email consult@wpspublish.com to get in contact with your assessment consultant. Now that you are familiar with our assessments and how they work on the WPS Online Evaluation System, we're going to show you how to make a purchase. There are several ways you can purchase an assessment. The first is to contact your assessment consultant through email at consult@wpspublish.com and let them know you're interested in purchasing assessments. You can ask them any questions you have about the assessments or pricing and let them know you would like to obtain a quote. Once your assessment consultant has sent you that quote, you can either send a purchase order back to the assessment consultant or sales support person who sent you the quote, or send the purchase order to customer service via email, or use a credit card over the phone to make the purchase. The second way you can purchase is by calling customer service over the phone and telling them what you would like to purchase, and they will work with you to take your information and help you with your purchase. The third way is to go online at WPSpublish.com. We're going to demonstrate how to use the website for online purchases.
To purchase online assessments, we want to navigate to the WPS website at www.wpspublish.com. I'm going to add 3 assessment products to the cart. We can search for those, select the product. I'm going to navigate down and select kits and manuals. And I'm going to add a ABUS 3 comprehensive online kit to the cart. Let's go ahead and add another product. Or the CAPS assessment online kit. We can do a search. Click on CAPS. I'll navigate down, select kits and manuals once again, and add the CAPS online kit to the cart. Now let's go ahead and add Digital Easel to the cart. I'm going to add the owls to LC Digital Easel A to the cart. I'm going to navigate to the cart. In the cart, you'll see the 3 assessments that I added to the cart. I'm going to go ahead and check out. I'll select my shipping address. I'll select my payment method. And once we submit our order, we'll receive an email with an activation code that will unlock the assessments in our online evaluation system. I'm going to go ahead and navigate to my email, and you'll see here that I've received the activation codes for the 3 assessments that I purchased. This is the activation code. It gives me a little bit of details on how I can get started if you need that. There's links to Quick Start Guide, the detailed user guide, and a how-to video. I can click here to go directly to the online evaluation system. And we'll need to go ahead and register before we can use those assessments online.
Once you purchase your assessments, you will need to set up an evaluation system account. There are 2 types of accounts, an individual account and an organization account. You will need the individual account if only one person is going to use it. And you will need an organization account if you have more than one person in your organization who will use the account. We will go over the individual account first and then the organization account.
We're going to get started and register as an individual. Remember, if you are an individual with a private practice and or you are the only user of the account, you want to set up an individual account. So let's start by going to platform.wpspublish.com. We'll click on register here. The first question asks you if you are part of an organization. For individual accounts, we want to go ahead and select no. We're going to go ahead and type in our email address. This is the email that you will use to log in to the system. You want to go ahead and confirm that. Let's go ahead and create a password. Password requirements are listed here. It is 8 characters, 1 uppercase, 1 lowercase letter, 1 number, and 1 special character. If you do have an account on our purchasing website, the WPS website, this is a different login and password. You can use those same login and passwords as long as the password requirements are met. Select our degree. And then we need to click on the checkbox to confirm that the responses are true and correct. Click next. You want to go ahead and either read through the BAA agreement or scroll down. Not until you actually scroll to the bottom or get to the bottom will the I agree checkbox, which is required, become active. And then let's click on register. So once we register, we're going to get an email, and that email will allow us to activate our account. Let's go to our email now. And here's the email from WPS. I'm going to go ahead and click on the link here to activate the account. And we see that it's been successfully activated. Now let's go ahead and log in. My browser's asking me if I want to save the credentials. I'm going to click yes. This is what we call the dashboard, and we're in. Now we're going to demonstrate how to set up an organization account. So let's click on register. The first question will ask you if you are part of an organization. We're going to click yes. For example, this includes schools, hospitals, clinics, universities. If you're part of an organization with multiple professionals who will be using the account, you want to set it up as an organization. This includes professors who use um, the online evaluation system with their graduate students as part of their graduate training program. I'm going to go ahead and create a new organization. This is the organization name. I'm going to click on agree, click next. Now this is the user's credentials. So we want to go ahead and enter in our email. This is the same email that we will be using to log into the system. You want to confirm that. It does actually check, looking at both emails, making sure that we're doing it correctly. You want to check the box to make sure that we certify that the responses are true and correct. Once again, we want to go ahead and read or scroll down to the bottom of the BAA. Only then will the I agree checkbox become active. Let's click register. And because I am the first member of this organization, I did create it. I am automatically given the status of org manager. We are required to activate the account, and any other users who join your organization do need to be approved by the org manager. Let's go ahead and activate this account. You can see that I've successfully activated it. Let's log in. And we're in. As an org, you will see that there are more options under my account, and this allows you to manage the organization and any of the users who actually join your organization. Now that we've created our organization, let's go ahead and have another user join our organization. They'll need to navigate to platform.wpspublish.com. They'll click on register. On step 1 of registration, are you part of an organization? They're going to select yes. You can actually enter in your organization here, but let's go ahead and click on Can't Find Organization. We'll filter alphabetically, find our organization, click Next. The user will need to enter in the email address that they're going to use to log into the system. You'll need to confirm that. The user will need to enter in a password they're going to use to log into the system. Password requirements are listed right here. 8 characters minimum, 1 uppercase, 1 lowercase, 1 number, and 1 special character. Any other users who join your organization automatically get a role type in the organization of practitioner. You can change that as an org manager. You'll need to click on this checkbox and click Next. You want to read through the BAA or scroll down to activate the I agree checkbox. You can check this if you want to receive marketing material, information on new assessments, or any sales and promotions that are going on. Click Register. Now that we've completed the registration process, this user will need to activate their account. So they'll go to their email and they'll go ahead and click on the link in the email to activate their account. You'll see here there's a note that they successfully activated the account. Because they are joining your organization, the org manager will need to approve this user before they can log into the account. Let's take a look at what the org manager sees. As the org manager, whenever someone is trying to join your account, you'll get an email notification. You'll see here that we got an email from the WPS Online Evaluation System notifying us that someone is trying to join our account. We'll see the username and the email address of that user. We're going to go ahead and click on the link here. We'll log in. We'll go to My Account, and under My Account, you'll find Manage Org Users. Here you'll see that this user is waiting to be approved. We'll click on Approve, and that user can now log into the system. We can also, if we decide to, change the user permissions. We can make this user an org manager. There is no limit to how many org managers you can have in an organization. The requirement is, of course, to have at least one. I'm going to click Cancel. As an org manager, some of these features that allow you to manage the organization and the users in the org are available only to org managers. So managing organization users, transferring clients, managing licenses, which allows us to see how our forms are distributed across the organization, enabling license pooling, transferring licenses, and all users have the ability to activate and export. Now that the users has been approved and they have activated their account, let's go ahead and see what it looks like when they log in. Now that we've approved this user, our user Dan can now log into the system. And because they're only a practitioner, you'll see here that under My Account, they have limited features. So we can actually go into, under My Account, we can modify some of our information. We can update our password. We can change the email address that we use to log into the system. There's other account details that can be modified here. We have the ability to manage organization users. I don't have any other organization users yet. We can demonstrate that in another video, how other users will be approved. You can transfer clients between different practitioners that belong to your organization. Manage licenses allows us to turn on what we call license pooling. And this allows us to make all of the uses for forms available in a pool for all of our organization members. I'm going to go ahead and enable this, click Save, confirm. We also have the ability to see where all of our forms and manuals and content that's available for this assessment. You can see here, if we expand all, I can see where all my forms are, who has the manual. In this case, I've turned on license pooling for the ABIS 3. Let's go ahead and look at, we could also transfer licenses. What this means is if you wanted to manage the forms and make sure that you only transfer forms to specific users, you can go ahead and do so here. We have the ability to activate licenses. We already did that for the ABIS, but if you had a license activation code for a product or a new purchase, you can enter that in here. We have the ability to export data, and this exports data into a file that can be opened in Excel. We would go ahead and select the range of dates. It is form specific. And you have options to include client details, input data, and calculated scores. You have the ability to have a delimiter. So if you wanted to open that in Excel, you can use tab or a comma delimiter. Once you click submit, you'll download a file and you can open that up for further use in your research or data gathering and analysis. So these options are limited to organization managers. You'll see here that I'm an org manager, and that's why I get to see all of these links under my quick links and under my account. Once you've made your purchase and received the activation code to unlock the assessment you purchased, you want to go to the online evaluation system. You want to log in. If you go to the email that you received, you can copy and paste the code, or you can click into this link here. This will take you to the system. It'll put the code in to the box for you, and it'll list the assessment and all of the materials that you've purchased. Once you do this, you can click activate. And this unlocks the assessment that you purchased. To view your product, click on assessments. You'll see here that we now have the assessment unlocked, and that's how you activate. You can also activate by going to My Account, clicking on the Activate Licenses link under there. Go to your email, copy the code, paste that into the box, click Validate, then you can click on the Activate button. Now that we've activated our assessment kit, as an org manager, you'll want to transfer some of the reports and forms to other users. Under My Account, you'll select Transfer Licenses. We'll select the user we're going to transfer from. This can be you, if you are the one who activated the kit. Let's go ahead and select the ABIS 3. And here you'll see my available quantity. I'm going to go ahead and select this user, and we'll give a few users a few forms. We'll also want to scroll horizontally to find some of the reports available. This does allow you to make available the reports only to specific users if you so choose. We're going to go ahead and make these report types available for these two users. If you do have license pooling enabled, you don't need to transfer forms to other users as those forms are pooled. We're going to go ahead and click transfer. This shows me what I'm going to transfer to the users. I'm going to click confirm. You'll see here at the bottom that it's working. Depending on how many forms and how many report types you're transferring, it can take a little while. And that's how you transfer forms and reports and manuals to other users. If you manage an organization with multiple or many users, we do have a time-saving feature called license pooling that allows you to share your form inventory across all users of your organization. To access it, you go under My Account, select License Pooling. You can control which assessments you turn this feature on for. So if you wanted to share only specific assessments with all users, you can select those. Let's click Edit. I'm going to enable this assessment and click Save. I'll confirm this. License pooling will make all of your existing form uses for the assessment shared across all users of your organization. Now, keep in mind that you do still need to transfer any additional report types, and if you wanted to transfer a manual to another user, you can do that as well. But license pooling only enables forms to be shared across all users. Once you've purchased and activated an online assessment kit, org managers may want to take advantage of the license pooling feature, which allows organizations to share forms across all users of the organization. Let's go ahead and use the ABIS 3 as an example. We're going to go to My Account. I'm going to click on License Pooling. I'm going to go ahead and click on Edit and enable the ABIS 3. Click Save, confirm the changes, confirm again. And license pooling, which allows us to share forms across all users of the organization, is now enabled. If we did need to see where some of our manuals are, how our manuals are distributed, we can actually go to Where Are My Licenses? And we'll see here we can click on Expand All. So we're going to go ahead and look at where our manuals are distributed. And this allows us to see who has a manual, and if you need to actually transfer a manual to another user, you can then go ahead and do that. So let's go ahead and click on Transfer Licenses. We're going to go ahead and select first the user who has a manual. I'm going to go ahead and select the ABIS 3. And once this loads, this allows us to see how many manuals we have. And for instance, I'm going to go ahead and transfer a few manuals to a few users. So I'm going to go ahead and give Albert a manual. And you'll see that the quantity remaining now goes down to 76. Let's go ahead and give this user a manual as well. Now let's go ahead and also share some of the unlimited features that came with our kit. Now remember that forms, because we enabled license pooling, do not need to be transferred to specific users. Unlimited features such as reports that may have come with your assessment kit do need to be. So let's go ahead and give these two users some of the reports that actually came with our kit. You can go ahead and select a few. Now, if you wanted to give these unlimited features to all users of your organization, you can actually click on the select all checkbox, and you'll see that all of these checkboxes for all of the users now are enabled. But we're going to go ahead and uncheck that, and I'm only going to give this to 2 of my users. I'm going to go ahead and click transfer. I'm going to confirm that. It does tell me what I'm transferring. In this case, 2 manuals and several of the unlimited reports. I'm going to go ahead and click on confirm and click OK. And those users now have access to some of the additional reporting features that are included in our assessment kit.
In this part of the WPS Online Evaluation System series, we are going to show the practitioner how to use the WPS Online Evaluation System by demonstrating a variety of assessments, including rating scales and performance-based assessments. Each assessment is unique and has different features, so it is important to look at each one carefully to find out what it has to offer and how it works. Some assessments, for example, have an intervention report feature, while others have score reports, interpretation reports, rater comparison reports, reports for parents, etc. We will go over each type of assessment we offer and their unique features so you can better understand how our system works.
To view the assessment that you purchased, you'll want to go to the assessments link at the top of the page. You can hover over My Assessments. Pro tip here is if you want to view all the assessments that you have access to, you want to click on the assessments. You'll get the bookshelf. Let's go ahead and use the Atlas 3 as an example. This is where you're going to find any online manuals that got unlocked with your kit. You can click on and view the manual. Also available here is any documents that you have access to. This is where you're going to find response sheets or any other documents that you have access to. You can click on and download or print response sheets. These are helpful if you needed to send a form home to perhaps a family that doesn't have internet access. You can always collect the responses on this form and then come back and enter those into the system for scoring. Also available here is the license tab. This is where you're going to find all of the features and forms that you have purchased. You'll see here we have a manual. We've unlocked 5 each of these forms for this rating scale. Other assessments may have different tabs depending on what those assessments include. There may be some that have a video tab or an easels tab. It all depends on what you purchased. Let's go ahead and look at another assessment. You'll see here that this assessment has different offerings. It has an easels tab, which the previous product we looked at did not. To administer an assessment, you'll want to create a new client or select an existing client. We're going to go ahead and create a new client by clicking on the Create New Client link here. We'll enter in the name. Enter in the name, first name, last name, gender, date of birth. Those are the required fields. You can add an ID if you require one. and an email address, but those are not required fields. Click Save and click OK. You'll see that our new client name is listed here, and they're also listed under the My Clients list here on the left nav. Let's administer a rating scale. We're going to select our client, and we're going to click on the Start Administration button. We'll select the Abbas 3 from our bookshelf. I'm going to go ahead and click on Add Form. I'll select the parent form. If we select Email, we'll see that the window expands to show different options. I can go ahead and enter in the respondent. I can put in the email that the form is going to get sent to, or the link to the form. If I want to get a copy of the email that I'm sending, I can go ahead and check on the Copy Me. It's selected by default. You can uncheck that if you want to. You can edit the subject line. This is the subject line in the email that the respondent's going to receive. And you can also edit the body of the email. If you want to enter an expiration date, you can do that as well. If the respondent clicks on the link after the expiration date, they won't be able to actually fill out the form. It's not a required field. You can actually leave that blank if you don't want to include an expiration date. Let's go ahead and click on Send Form. That form has been sent to the respondent. This is what the respondent receives in their email. They can go ahead and click on the link, and this opens up the form. You'll see that it actually goes to what we call our respondent window. We're going to go ahead and click Next Section. And clicking the Next Section button takes the respondent through the different sections of the assessment. In this case, the parent information, required fields are denoted by a star. You'll see here that we're actually in the test itself now, and the respondent will answer the questions by clicking the radio buttons. Once they get to the bottom of the form, they'll click the Next Section button to go into the next skill area for this assessment. I paused the video momentarily as I filled out the rest of the form. At the end of the test, the respondent clicks on Submit. They get a confirmation pop-up to make sure that they're ready to submit. And you'll see that the window will close for them once they've actually submitted the form. Once the form has been submitted, in your view, you'll see here that the form has been submitted. We're going to go ahead and click on it. The form opens up. You can review any of the items, any of the information submitted. We're going to go ahead and click on Validate. It's telling me that the form is ready to score. You'll see now I have the Score Form button is available to me. Remember that only by clicking Score Form do you actually consume one of the uses for the forms that you've purchased. Sending out the email or sending out a form doesn't actually consume a use. So you don't actually consume anything until you actually score the form. So if you get back a form and you decide you don't want to score, you don't have to, you don't lose any uses by not scoring it. Let's go ahead and click on score form. We're going to go ahead and confirm that we want to use one form use. And you'll see that the report is generated. It is available to download or print from your browser. You can come back at any point in the future and access that form. Accessing that form or reprinting it doesn't consume an additional use. Once you've scored the form, you'll see here that the report has been created. The status has changed. We can go ahead and click on the Reports tab now if we wanted to generate any other reports that are available to us from this scored form. For the ABIS 3, this particular rating scale does allow you to create a good number of reports. If we click on the Create Supplemental Report, we can create an interpretive report. We'll select our form. We'll give it a name. And once again, it opens up in your browser window. You can print this. You can access at any point in the future. You can create an unlimited amount of supplemental reports from that scored form. The only thing that consumes a form use is the score report. We can go ahead and create a different type of report. In this case, a rater report is available to us. This report is nice if you want to share this with a parent or with somebody else. And all of these reports are available. You'll see here that I can come back at any point and access that report as a PDF or a Word file if I wanted to maybe copy some tables and put that into other reporting software or into a report that I'm creating. If you purchase the ABIS 3 online kit, you also have access to the intervention planning reports, which can be generated for scored forms. And you can select an unlimited amount of interventions and create an unlimited amount of reports of this type for that scored form. This also does allow you to filter what you're actually viewing. It makes it easier to select items and interventions. You can also, in this case, filter by item score. And you'll see that the item score column is there. You can clear any of those selections just so that it's a little easier to view the things that you actually wanted to see. And once again, this opens up as a PDF. And you'll see that the interventions that we selected are available in this report. If I had administered multiple forms of the same type, let's say, for instance, 2 parent forms, I could create a progress report as well. Now that we've purchased and activated our Digital Easel, let's go ahead and open that up and see how it works. So we're going to hover over My Assessments. If you did actually purchase the OWLS 2, it would be listed here. Some of the other easels, depending on what assessment you purchased, may be listed under free scoring. Let's go ahead and open up the OWLS 2. So I'm going to click on the assessments link. This opens up the full bookshelf. It includes all of your paid and free scoring assessments. We're going to click on the OWLS 2 in the bookshelf. We're going to go ahead and navigate to the easels tab. And here you'll see that the easel is broken up into two parts. One is the administration guide, which is the practitioner facing side. This is what you're going to be actually viewing. And the digital stimulus images is the portion of the easel that you're actually going to want to share with your client or the child. Up here, you'll see if we purchase multiple easels, the carousel here does actually allow us to scroll through different easels depending on what we purchased. But we're going to go ahead and use the formatting easel as an example. So let's go ahead and click on the administration guide. And this will actually open up in another tab in your browser or another window, depending on whether or not you have your browser in full screen. You'll see here that we actually have buttons to go ahead and navigate through the easel. You can actually click on some of the items in the index or the contents page. You can also jump to specific sections via the menu at the top. I'm going to go ahead and minimize this for a sec or get it out of the way. And then let's go ahead and click on the stimulus images, which is the portion of the easel that you're going to want to share with the client or the child that you're administering to. If you're using a screen sharing software program such as Zoom or Teams or some other screen sharing platform, this is the portion that you're going to want to share with the client. We're going to go ahead and click on View. And we're going to wait for that to load. That did load as an additional window. And you'll see here that the same navigation items are left and right button. We can actually jump to the contents page. We can go to specific examples or items, depending on where we want to start. I'm going to close this for a sec. If you did need to access anything else like the manual, you can actually just go back to the manuals tab. If you did purchase the online manual, you can go ahead and click on that as well. And the navigation menu is similar in that you have left and right navigation. You can jump to specific pages. You can click on some of the menu buttons at the bottom, at the top. And that's how you use your digital easels. Let's take a look at the clinical assessment of pragmatics, or CAPS. Let's start by going to My Assessments. We're going to select the CAPS. Here you'll see that we have access to the manual, which we can view online. We also have a Documents tab, which includes response sheets. This allows you to record responses on paper. You can download and print this. If you only have one screen, this is useful. You can use the one screen for sharing the video and use the response sheets to document the responses. If we go to the video tab, these are the videos that you're going to want to play, and share with the child. You'll see here that the full video is included. If you go down to the bottom of the screen, you can select the individual subtest videos. And you can navigate to those if you just simply wanted to play or replay a specific subtest. You can make these videos full screen if you wanted to log in with on a different device. You can view the videos on one device or on one screen. If you do have two devices, let's say an iPad and your laptop, this is the window that you'll want to share with the child. Let's go ahead and look at the form. I'm going to go ahead and select the client. I'm going to click on Start Administration. I'll select the caps. We're going to add a form. And we're going to click Start. The form itself opens up in another tab. You'll see here that directions are included. You want to enter your name here. Click Next. You can review the client information. And this leads us into the examples. You can enter in the child's responses here. You'll want to do that for the 4 examples. Click Next. This leads you into the first subtest. Click Next. And here you'll want to enter in the responses as the child is giving them to you, or you can come back at any point to enter them in from a paper administration or from the response sheets if you're using these to capture responses. The online form does give you the prompts and does actually guide you and give you examples for some of the correct responses. You'll see here that examples are listed beneath. You can come back later after administering the assessment to score if you want to. But let's go ahead and enter in a few responses. And we can score this. Or as I noted previously, you can always come back to score this at a later time. If you need to go back to a previous item, you can go ahead and select previous. If you wanted to jump around for some reason, you can enter in a page here. Click enter. It does navigate you. That allows you to keep track of how close you are to completing the form. I'll open up a form that's been completed so that we don't have to navigate through the whole test. So this form, you'll see I already have recorded the responses and scored the responses. You can click on the directions if you need those at any point. And clicking next will load one item at a time. Once you get to the end of the subtest, it does give you the instructions for the next subtest and then loads the first item in that subtest. Let's jump to the end. I'm going to click on Submit. This is the last item in the last subtest, and click Submit. I'm going to click Yes, that I'm ready to submit this. And that window will close. You'll see here that this form is now ready to score. Clicking on the form itself, you can review the responses. You can edit the form if you want to, or if you need to make any changes. Let's validate this form. And now the form is ready to score. We're going to click on the score button, confirm that we want to consume one of the uses. Remember that only when you click score do you consume a use. And the score report prints out. It's generated as a PDF. It opens up in your browser. You can download or print this. It is available, remember, at any point you can come back in the future and you don't consume an additional use when you actually reopen this report if you needed to come back for any reason. So keep in mind, you can administer this on screen. And if you have two screens, one screen can show the videos themselves, and the other screen will allow you to enter in the responses. If you have two devices, you can log in on that additional device, let's say an iPad, and play the videos there once again. Or if you wanted to enter in the responses on paper while you watch the videos with the child on your laptop or an iPad, you can do that as well. Going back to the practitioner site, we can see that there are additional options for reporting. And if you go to the Reports tab, you'll find that you can also generate a progress report. There are a few ways to get help if you need it. There is a live chat feature. If you look at the bottom of your screen, you'll see this icon. You can click on that. This is perhaps the quickest way to get help. If our support technicians are not in the office, if you try to use the live chat feature while we're out, they will get back to you usually the following business day. Tech support hours are 6 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you're not logged into the system, you can also scroll to the bottom of the window and click on the help link here. This is available if you're logged out or logged in. You'll see here that we do have the email address for our support staff. You can also reach out via email, and you could call in during our business hours. If you do leave a message, they do get back to you usually the following business day once they're in the office. This page also has a good number of resources to get you started, or if you need to dig in a little deeper. There is a quick start guide available. And this walks you through some of the more basic features such as registering, creating a client, and getting started sending out a form. You can download that quick start guide and have it as a reference if you need to. There is a more detailed user guide. This is about 50 pages long, so if you needed to dig in a little deeper, you can also access the quick start guide. The quick start guide is a PDF which you can download and print. Once again, this is about 50 pages long, so you might not need to download or print this one. It is available for logged in or logged out users. Some of the other content available on the help page is we have the how it works video. And if you're new to OES, this may be a good place to start. It's about a 3-minute video, and it does explain some of the features that are available on OES. Things like export and how to export can be found on this page as well. There's a list of free products that are available when you register as a user, and other help items regarding products that are available. There's links to the products that are available for purchase and use on OES. So these assessments do all include links that go to our e-commerce site. And if you click on those will take you to the WPS website. And it'll give you more assessment information and all of the links to purchase the assessments. If you needed information on computer requirements, remember that OES only requires a web browser and an internet connection. Some information on the supported browsers. If you are logged into the system, all of this information is available to you. Once you log in, at the top menu, you can actually click on the help link, which will take you directly to that page. So if you do call during our normal business hours for tech support, you will actually be able to speak to a live person. If you have any questions, run into any issues, or have concerns, they're able to answer almost all of your inquiries on the spot. And just as a reminder, our current tech support hours for live support are from 6 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Thank you for viewing the WPS Online Evaluation System video series. WPS offers a variety of assessment tools and resources for professionals. Please visit WPSpublished.com to view our assessments and other resources. We have a telepractice page, content hub, and video resources. We also have a YouTube channel where you can access a variety of educational videos about assessments and other relevant topics. We hope to see you soon.